Hey, good afternoon. It's Tuesday, July 8th, Taco Tuesday for anybody who's paying attention. Looks like Trump backed down on some of his tariff threats, or maybe this is just negotiation strategy. Who really knows? It was a good day. It's looking a little rough now. My portfolio's dropped in the last little bit from it was as high as 119,800 dollars, and we're down at 118,700 right now. I guess it's just regular volatility, but it's never comfortable seeing your portfolio drop. Um, that's what I get for having options. Too many options, I guess. Um, so I'm gonna launch Bloomberg for the background, and we can listen to that as the countdown to the close happens. We got a half hour to go until markets are closed in North America, and we'll see how things go. Curious to see what. Oh, Trump vows no tariff extension. Hardens threats on copper and drugs. Oh, great. Well, that explains why they drop. Uh, every time he opens his mouth, it seems to cause some friction or volatility. Maybe it's intentional. Maybe just like Liberation Day, there's some insiders that are making some money on this.
That is worth all this money. Well, they're trying to get to AGI, right? They're trying to get to a point where the AI tools are even smarter than a human, right? And with this amount of money that they're throwing
We'll see what happens.
they're probably going to end up being a big winner here, right? I think that on one hand, it's a completely ineffective solution from a cultural standpoint of building a team where you're getting people solely because of how much you're paying them rather than people who genuinely want to be there and work together, right? On the other hand, if you get the right people and you actually get them to work together effectively, you're probably going to end up with the winner here if you bring all the best minds together. So I definitely think that OpenAI and Google and Apple's not even in the AI conversation at this point.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that Apple has really lagged behind on the AI front. I bought an iPhone 16 Pro specifically for their promise of having decent AI or Apple Intelligence. What a crock! It was very disappointing how things turned out. I feel like I was duped, and it's disappointing. Not really a fanboy, I would say. I like my stuff to all work together, um, and it's been disappointing. I mean, the little Mac Mini that I bought that because for the price, it's hard to beat the hardware. Um, but I know that I could buy a miniature desktop PC for a few $100s less, and get get the same or similar experience out of it. So I don't know. It's too bad.
Shareholders are not necessarily going to push back. And it's not a shareholder owned company like you see, like an Apple, like a Google, right? This is a company where he can make the decisions. And if he wants to throw tens and hundreds of billions of dollars at this problem, if he wants to throw $100, $200 million pay packages to bring in whoever he wants, he can do that. So he does have that inherent advantage to do whatever he so chooses.
Mark, who are the names that we watch next? Now with paying out, who is in charge? And can you maybe share with us who you're potentially watching next to be leaving Apple?
Oh, that was big news. Developer with Apple left to go work with Meta on an AI project. Pretty bad for Apple and for us that have shares.
They removed Siri from his command. They removed robotics from his command. A series of AI-related frameworks called Cormel and Apple Intense, and a bunch of other AI-related things. He essentially runs research for AI at Apple, and some annotation and analytics and testing teams related to Siri and artificial intelligence. At some point, he's no longer going to be there. That's the name that a lot of AI industry people have been watching. And obviously, a lot of the other researchers who reported to paying clearly probably on the way out as well.
Today, I am, well, at the last check, which was a couple of seconds ago, it was down a little bit. Let's see where we're at now. Up since yesterday, 118.9, which is where I reported last time that I closed at. So I don't know. It's, I think, just oscillation right now, just regular jitters. Not too worried about it. Rocket Lab was doing well because of the friction with Trump and Musk, and I'm expecting that option to continue doing well. But good for you, 301. That's pretty decent. Is that an all-time high for you? Wow. I'll get there one day. I don't know how fast. I want to do a little less risky stuff, and still want to get the returns. So, of course, it's a balancing act, right? I added a couple of shares of a Vanguard ETF today called VDY. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it pays a healthy dividend. I think 4 or 5%. It's not huge, but it's invested in all Canadian dividend payers. And I had about 70 shares before. Added 2 more today, just with a couple of dividend payments that I got, and so I've got 79 shares of it, or 70 in that account, 72 shares, something like that. And it's pretty decent. It pays monthly, so in the past I've used dividend payments to do speculation, and kind of got away from that. But I think I'll go back to doing that because it protects the rest of the capital. So, have you been looking at anything to trade today? That makes a lot of sense. I guess with VT, you get quarterly dividends, right? I have VI as well, which is Vanguard International Focused Fund that invests in everything outside of North America, because I have VSP for the S&P 500 and I have VDY for basically everything Canadian that pays a dividend. And VI paid a dividend that was fairly decent on the quarter just past. It was I forget exactly how much, but it was pretty decent. Certainly not as much as VDY, but it's a different kind of product. It does more growth, I think. Are you satisfied with VT? Mm-hmm. Almost back to where I said it was yesterday. Oh, never mind. It changes by the second. There's so much volatility and oscillation, and you can't really pay attention to anything until after 4 o'clock. It seems. Um, I try and take a longer term view of it because I just don't know what's going to happen, right? And I do know that it typically over time goes up and to the right.
That's what I do. I speculate with my dips in my RDSP.
Makes a lot of sense. Protecting what we've got is the key, I guess. Um, I'm moving towards that slowly. Oh yeah, the U.S. dollar has been kind of beaten up lately. Yeah, and the bank rate is always different than what the real exchange rate is. I guess the bank has to make a buck. I understand. It just seems like the spread is a little hard sometimes. What they take, it could be $1.40 on the what the exchange rate says, but then they charge you $1.45 or $1.42, whatever. It can be um, frustrating what they charge to buy U.S. dollars. That's why I was saying yesterday it'd be nice to be able to have a part of the fund in U.S. dollars, like my TFSA with national, and actually when I had one at the TD, they allowed me to have TFSAs in both U.S. and Canadian dollars, and they're held at the bank. So I don't understand. I guess accounting would be a nightmare for it, and that's probably why they don't do it. But if I could keep my RDSP in US, I'd be a lot happier. Except when I'm getting Canadian dollars, then you know it is what it is. Looks like the tariffs are going ahead, just not being implemented until the first. Um, what do you think's going to happen with that? Yeah, we're down just a little bit. Having more international focus would probably be good right now, but you just don't know when the U.S. is going to rebound. That's what stops me from shifting more to the global fund.
Chat. Launchpad. Good Safari. National Bank Direct Brokerage. Patrick. Sign in.
Just taking a look here. I'm going to share my screen.
I want to talk about individual stock picks, but I first have to get your thoughts on just kind of like reflecting
Equals
on the market action
1.3683.
since Liberation Day, because the S&P 500
Equals
is
sign.
almost 25% since
180, 208.41.
ever since
Cancer Q cat RDSP.
to what we saw back then. So why is the market
So I can give a better sense of
Amazon Common Core Rates.
priced in, or are you
what's in the account right now.
maybe something we're very panicked about?
It's kind of funny. We were talking about this earlier and discussing the fact that when we're
It's looking like I got to do some special setup.
Google Chrome app open system settings. Screen recording. Select a tab to share. Entire screen unselected. To share your screen, allows screen recording. Open system settings. Appearance. Allow the application spiller to access and record your system audio. No items. Appear Control Center. Apple Intelligence at desktop and dock screen 6 spotlight. Control Center. Apple Intel desktop and dock. Screen saver. Game Center. Wallet and iCloud. Print keyboard. Desktop and dock. No items. Use password. Modify settings. 3:46 p.m. RDS movie on June 26, 2025 at 4 trim and 4. External 500 gigabytes RAT. External 500 gigabytes to share your open system settings. Movie to yes, but I wish you guys can't share. Cancel.
It looks like it's not letting me do it. I got some more setup to do. But let's see. Welcome to Top Fans More Options. Buy. Google. Accounts. Markets. Accounts. Summary. Account selection. Name all accounts. $17.39. Looks like we're probably going to close around 119 today. Oh yeah. Trump vows no tariff extensions.
Extension hardens threats on copper, drugs. President Donald Trump vowed to push forward with his aggressive tariff regime in the coming days, stressing he would not offer additional extensions on country-specific levies set to now hit in early August, while indicating he could announce substantial new rates on imports of copper and pharmaceuticals. The posturing on social media and at a cabinet meeting on Tuesday came after traders initially shrugged off a series of letters and executive actions Trump issued Monday, pushing back the deadline for his so-called reciprocal tariffs while announcing the latest rates he planned for more than a dozen countries that had not succeeded in brokering quick trade agreements. That changed Tuesday as Trump signaled a renewed determination to push ahead with his plans to heavily tax foreign imports.
That explains the drop that I'm seeing.
On the country-specific tariffs, despite the previous night allowing he was not 100% firm on his August 1st deadline. He said he would impose a 50% rate on copper products being sent into the U.S., surging futures of the commodity to their largest intraday gain in data going back to at least 1988. He also told reporters that despite progress with
he's a great guy.
Trade deal, frustration over the bloc's taxes and fines targeting U.S. technology firms could result in him unilaterally declaring a new tariff rate within the next 2 days. And just hours after saying he was close to a trade deal with India, Trump said he would still tag imports from the country with an additional 10% levy for their participation in BRICS, a collection of developing nations. Moreover, he said, drug companies could face a tax as high as 200% on imports if they didn't move production to the U.S. in the next year. We want to have relationships, but in every case, they treated us far worse than I'm treating them, Trump said of trading partners. As investors assess the latest trade news, the S&P 500 wavered. Treasuries joined a global drop in longer-dated bonds. Trump opened the morning with a social media post declaring his new rates would hit at the beginning of August, despite speculation that he might once again punt on the most punishing of tariffs. Tariffs will start being paid on August 1st, 2025. There has been no change to this date, and there will be no change, Trump wrote on his Truth Social platform on Tuesday. In other words, all money will be due and payable starting August 1st, 2025. No extensions will be granted. Trump began notifying trading partners of the new rates on Monday ahead of what was initially a deadline.
Isn't that nice? Sounds like, unless he chickens out again, looks like we're going for a repeat of what happened in April. But instead of April Fool's or the day after, it's going to be August Labor Day, I suppose. Or is that civic holiday here? Civic holiday, I think. It's unfortunate. But I think it'll create some volatility and some opportunity. Just not sure where to park the money in the meantime. I guess I'll leave it in cash. I haven't found something that's reasonably stable that I want to put in. There's money market funds that I can access, but it takes a day to transfer in and a day to transfer out. So, you could miss the opportunity when it presents.
This week for countries to wrap up trade negotiations with his administration. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, speaking to CNBC shortly after the cabinet meeting on Tuesday, said he expected an additional 15 to 20 letters to be released in the coming 2 days. But the new letters, unilaterally setting duties on countries that fail to reach deals, came alongside an executive order delaying the tariff date for 3 weeks, effectively giving trading partners an extension for talks. That caveat, paired with Trump signaling that he was still negotiating additional deals, fueled skepticism among some in Washington and on Wall Street that the president would follow through on his latest tariff threats. Read more. Latest tariff pause shows limits of Trump's frenzied deal-making.
Well, there we go. So, it's happening, I guess. We shall see. Do you think he's going to chicken out on this?
App Store. Sona 6. Refresh. Manage.
Well, 118.9. Looks like it's going to be slightly down, maybe unchanged since yesterday.
I saw online that only 18 countries or 95% of total U.S. imports, so some countries getting letters won't matter much.
Yeah. I think what is happening is people are just nervous about the unpredictability of the administration, You're right. It's not going to impact much of their imports. I think the biggest one is China and India, which hits Apple. And that explains why Apple is not doing so well lately, in part. I think the other part of Apple's drop is to do with their, frankly, failure to make Siri better, and their AI delays. Yeah, he will if the markets start to tank, I think you're right. That's what happened last time, but it wasn't the stock market that he cared about. It was the bond market that really impacted him, I think. So I'm watching the 10-year bond to try and see an early indication. And I watch Bitcoin as well because it seems to be related to um, risk appetite that people have. But I could be, reading the tea leaves wrong, I guess. I don't know. But that ETF has paid me very well. BITO, BITO. Um, this month it's paying 77 cents a share, and US, and the share price is only 21 bucks. Like last month it was close to $1 a share, I believe. Like it's incredible what it pays, and it's a Bitcoin futures ETF, so they don't actually hold Bitcoin. They're basically buying and selling calls and puts, I suppose. Um, it's been good, but it's still like the holding itself is down 5% from what I paid. But the way I look at it is the dividends have made up for any shortfall that the underlying has shown me. Let's see. If you were going to put some money in some options, are there anything that you think is interesting right now? Yeah, yeah. The refinancing that is something. He's trying to get rates low. Yeah, yeah. Well, he's been bankrupt enough times to know that interest rates can kill you. And he was developing properties back in the '80s when interest was double digits. So you know he's he's doing what I guess any smart business person would do and try and refinance at a lower rate. But there's impacts on all sorts of other things, from what I understand. It's not as simple as just demanding a lower rate and paying less money on the debt. Uh, it'll cause the value of their currency to depreciate further, from what I understand, if they forcibly lower interest rates.
Mork said, grinning face with smiling said face with wide open eyes and flushed cheeks.
Let's see, best and worst today. Worst is actually shares of Alphabet, but not by much. I've lost $17 on Alphabet in total, and I don't have a lot of shares in it actually. I've only got 5. Um, I tried to buy $1,000 of each of the Mag 7 except for Tesla, uh, and that's what I did. And the Mag 7 stocks seem to be the ones that are kind of hurting right now. Not by a hell of a lot, but enough to notice. Um, best performer today. Oh, here we go. Worst overall is actually a holding that I have in Reddit. Yeah, the options I have for D-Wave have been incredible. Um, I bought $2 calls when the price of the company was below $2, so it was out of the money at that point. Kind of a moonshot, but not really. I mean, it was trading around $2 when I bought the strike. When I bought the 5 or 6 calls at that time, and when it got to a certain point, I sold a couple of them to cover the initial cost. Actually, I did it twice, so it's been good. Uh, Ion Q's been decent too. I don't have any Rugetta yet, but I've been thinking about picking some up. Might even be just worth doing options on the quantum ETF. I think it's just a matter of time before uh, we have desktop quantum computers. You know, they're supercomputer size right now, like room size computers, I believe. The air conditioning and the cooling units are the big part of the problem for miniaturizing, but we'll get there one day, I think. Right now, it's like the old ENIAC computers. Actually, I used to work briefly for IBM as a temp, um, helping them put together their data center down in Markham, Ontario, and they had rooms full of desktops and their mainframes and all sorts of things. It was incredible. Kind of a nerd's wet dream, I guess. It was cool for me. But the job was mostly just pulling cable and testing data ports, and you can only do so much of that in a day. Unfortunately, Reddit seems to be my worst performing option today. But overall, it's still up 91% from what I paid. Oh, shit, yeah. Yeah, they are definitely. But I don't think the run's done. I don't think the run is over for NVIDIA. Um,
Man, if I could regen parts of my life, I would have bought NVIDIA 2006 to 2018. I even was aware of the company since 2001 because I'm a gamer, such a missed opportunity.
my dad had a sizable portfolio back in the 90s and owned NVIDIA at, I think he said it was in the pennies at the time. Um, and 2008 came along and they panicked and got out of most of their stuff. Um, and it's unfortunate. A lot of people lost a lot of money in '08 and, got burned and never went back to investing. And my parents, unfortunately, were a couple of the people caught in the crossfire of that one. Mm. I think NVIDIA is going to do something with quantum. Um, from what I understand, D-Wave is doing a hybrid type machine there. They're working on one that will have um, their quantum combined with the traditional computer to make better calculations or something. I don't quite understand how that's going to work, but I put up a video just earlier about how D-Wave works, and it's a cool company. Who do you think's going to do best in the quantum race? I kind of have the feeling that it's the companies with the deepest pockets that are going to do the best. But there could be a breakout success. I suppose one of the smaller players, Google's Willow chip, really sparked a rally earlier on this year, as I recall. Now, according to the bank, it looks like I ended the day down $70. So it could have been worse.
Refresh. 118,629.93. July 8th, 2025. The DD channel.
I find this takes the bank at least 15 minutes after 4 o'clock to show, what the final tally is. How is TD for showing you real-time data on your holdings?
Finance. Breaking news. Finance. Breaking news. The Dow closed lower as Trump hardened tariff threats, pledging to stick to in August. One deadline and unveiling new copper tariffs. Now.
Quantum cybersecurity, that's cool.
Depends on what you ship quantum. There's quantum computers and there's quantum cybersecurity. Yes, Willow was the that pushed my RDSP to $297,000. I had shares in QNC declare quantum cybersecurity.
Wow. Good for you, man. That's incredible. Was QNC are they still traded, or were they acquired by somebody else? Quantum emotion? Good for you. Wow. Well, it's worth looking into because they're saying that cybersecurity is going to be the thing that quantum really makes difficult for everybody. That's my understanding, anyways. And cybersecurity is needed, anyways, right? I mean, with or without quantum, but quantum's going to make picking locks a hell of a lot easier for the crooks, I think. Yeah, it's hard to know, isn't it? Knowing when to sell.
Like you also struggle with when to sell sometimes.
That's um, that's been a challenge for me. You know, well, my dad had BlackBerry back in the early 2000s when it was, or Research in Motion back then. It was trading for $2. I think he sold it at 20. And by the time that the CEO wanted to buy a hockey team in Hamilton, it was trading around $300. That was, I think, 09 or 10. I think we've all got those regret stories, like if I just held on. But there's also people that thought that Nortel, I don't know if you remember that one, but Nortel was a solid thing and, kept buying. and, and where's Nortel today, right? I've done that a few times, to be quite honest. Yeah, I try to do things that um, protect myself from myself, if that makes sense. Like what I do,
Nearly every investor has those regret stories.
what I've been doing is buying my options in pairs when I have the money, um, and then selling one of them to recover what I initially put out. It's um, it's not always easy though. Like, and I hate putting a huge amount of money into options if I'm unsure of it. So, well, well, be right back.
Number one.
414. Let's see where we're at. Quantum emotion. I'm going to remember that one. Looks like QNC is at $1.72 now, so might be worth putting a few bucks in. I think that might be a TFSA sort of investment. Let's see what their financials look like. Still a fairly small company from the looks of it. Not making money yet. I guess it's just speculation at this point that's driving them. Oh, $11 million cash and from what I'm seeing, like $50,000 in debt. That's pretty decent. They can survive a long time without making anything. Oh, it's still worth putting some money into, I think.
Current, March 31st, 2025.
Interesting. Wow. Let's see where we finish the day. $118,590. $40 higher than it started the day at. So that's okay. Tomorrow's another day to try again, right? And tomorrow's the big tariff announcement day. I suppose nothing's going into place until the 1st, and maybe even not then, right? Like, I'm betting that at the end of the day, everybody's getting 10%, except for countries he really doesn't like, and he's using the ridiculous numbers as negotiating leverage, but I suppose Trump is the deal maker. We'll see how it works out. Anyways, I'm going to sign off. Good talking to you again. Have a good one.